The following podcast is a part of Rediscovering America.
Cruise, resort, vacation.
Do you love to cruise? So do I. I'm Zee Michaelson from the J&Z Show on ZMAX Radio.
Booking,
Reservation, family, fun, memory.
All of this and more on this edition of Zee Michelson's Travel Podcast, as she helps you rediscover America. And welcome to Zee Michaelson Travel Podcast, as we are rediscovering America. I'm Jay Lawrence, and of course with me, here's our travel guide, Zee Michaelson.
I am here.
All right. Zee, where are we going today?
Well, there is a place out in the West I have been through a couple of times. I have friends that live there.
Yes.
Utah.
Oh, Utah. How tall is Utah?
Utah is tall.
Okay. So you're going to be guiding us through the Utah. We've been through Rhode Island the last couple of weeks.
Right, we've been through Rhode Island.
Discovered a lot of great things that happened there.
And Utah is just as amazing. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to talk about Utah and what is all about Utah, and just keep going until we get you to go to Utah.
Okay. And we also have a traveling trivia question.
Absolutely.
That will be coming up shortly. And we're going to be talking about a special cruise that you have.
Well, we're going to talk about cruising.
Okay. Well, let's get down to Utah and figure out, where is Utah?
Okay, just in case you don't know exactly where Utah is, it's bordered by Idaho and Wyoming in the north and Colorado on the east. It touches a single point of New Mexico to the southeast of what they call Four Corners. Utah is bordered by Arizona in the south and Nevada in the west.
Holy mackerel, it's got a lot surrounding it.
So it's right there in the middle of everything. And it's mostly rocky. The terrain is mostly rocky. And it does have three distinctive geological regions. They have the Rocky Mountains. It has the Great Basin and the Colorado Plateau.
Now, I always like the Rocky Mountains. So
Rocky Mountain High.
Give me a Rocky
John
Mountain.
Denver.
Please get me there. Now, how big would Arizona be?
We're not going to Arizona. We're going to Utah, Jay.
I think Arizona is bigger than... How big is Utah?
Well, population-wise, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
The Census Bureau back in 2008, back when the census was in 2008, was over 2 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it keeps growing and growing and growing. And most of the population, of course, are in the cities. And you've heard of a lot of the cities.
Yeah.
But, you know, what I like about Utah is the climate.
Oh, really? Okay, well.
You know, I'm
thinking it's...
Even though I'm from New York, I'm a West Coast girl. I like that dryness.
Really?
And Utah has the dry, semi-arid to arid climate. But however, in the mountains, it's a little bit different. Yeah, in the mountains, you can go above the timberline, and you're going to see lots and lots of snow.
Now, that's where I like to camp. I like to camp
You like to camp in the snow?
Above the timberline.
It's chilly up there.
Well, you get a nice sleeping bag, get the right stuff, and you can go camping up there.
Now, it lies in what they call a rain shadow of the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. Now, what that means is the rain comes in primarily from the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
You know, so it does get some rain. But naturally, the higher you go in elevation, the more snow you're going to get. In the summer, the state, normally the southern and eastern end of Utah, they call it in the path of the monsoon moisture. I don't know if we'd call it monsoon down here, because most of the lowland areas can get less than 12 inches of rain.
A year. Yeah.
Now, the Great Lake is a desert. The Great Lake Desert is the driest area of the state with less than 5 inches.
Well, is snowfall common?
In the mountains, absolutely. Absolutely. And they do have a lot of snow during the year in a lot of the areas. But
how far south does it go?
Oh, it goes pretty far south, but not all the way southwest. So you got a lot of areas that you're going to. Some of the cities, you know, that we all heard of before is going to have some snow.
Now, does Salt Lake City get more rain than the other areas?
No. It sees about 60 inches of rain.
Yeah.
But not necessarily snow. You won't see that high of a snowfall.
Is it enhanced by the snow effect?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes. Snow effects are always there because of the lake and all of that. So you do have, the lake, the Great Salt Lake. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have.
It's very still.
I drove by it and said, hello, you don't look that exciting to me.
It's very, very still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably talk more about all of that in oncoming shows. But a lot of people think that Utah is out west, so naturally everybody goes out there to retire.
Really?
Yeah, but they don't.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Utah has the highest total birth rate and the youngest population of any of the United states.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And it's a little bit more male than female. Not that much. Not that much. It's like 49.9% female and 50.1 male. So a little.
A little there, a little there. Yeah.
But again, Utah is broken off into different areas. Utah has the national parks. It has the state and federal parks. And, of course, it has the cities and the towns. There's so much to do and see throughout the entire state. But what we're going to do today is we're going to give you kind of like the highlights.
I see.
Yeah, we're going to give you the highlights. And, I'm a city girl, and there are some great cities to visit in Utah as well, because you've heard of Salt Lake City, you've heard of Ogden, you've heard of Provo, but a lot of people haven't heard of Park City or Springdale or Blanding or Logan, and there's even more. And believe it or not, they even have a Boulder, and it's not in Colorado.
I did not know that. You like Boulder, Colorado, didn't you?
Boulder, Colorado is a pretty cool little city. But we're not in Colorado today. We are in Utah today.
Okay.
Utah. And every time I hear the name Utah, I think of that movie, The Wild Wild West, with...
so many characters that you can't mention them all.
No. The Wild Wild West movie that I've seen.
Are you talking about the new one or the old one?
The new one.
The Wild Wild West. That had
Yes.
Smith in it.
Right. Will Smith was in it, which I think he played that part perfectly.
And why did you think of is that where that's supposed to take place, in Utah?
Well, what happens is they're going out to Utah, and the villain in the movie has his little minion women, and they're from Europe or someplace, and they kept calling Utah Utah. It's Utah.
I see.
So every time I hear Utah, I now think of that movie, and I think of that girl pronouncing it Utah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about Utah as we come back. We're going to stop now. We have a traveling trivia question.
Traveling trivia question. Dun, 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 dun. And this one I'm doing a little bit in advance of learning about Utah, because we're going to talk about Utah so much. What is Utah's state animal?
Is it the bird? Is it the plane? Is it the plane?
I'm going to give you some choices, because as I told you, Utah is very vast.
Okay,
so they do have a lot of animals.
Utah's state animal.
Right. Is it the Rocky Mountain elk? Is it the mule deer, or is it the longhorn sheep? So what is Utah's state animal? The Rocky Mountain elk?
Elk.
The mule deer?
Mule deer.
Or the longhorn sheep?
Longhorn sheep. Okay, well, we'll be back with more about Utah after we take this pause for the cause. I'm Jay Lawrence.
And this is Zee Michaelson, helping you rediscover America.
Hi, I'm Mary Van Dyke, and I'm rediscovering America. I know big stories can happen in some of the smaller towns right here in the USA, and you can learn more about small towns in America at livability.com. If we missed your hometown and you want to share it with others, just send me a note at the bottom of our website, rediscoveringamerica.com. Until next time, I'm Mary Van Dyke, helping you rediscover America.
Okay, Zee, I understand that you are a travel agent.
Yes, I am a travel agent.
That's
I love to travel.
That's why we say you could take us anywhere you want to go, right?
Yes. And I know we've been talking a lot about the United States.
Right.
Now, something a lot of people don't realize is cruising.
Yes.
Cruising, even though, it goes to all different ports and ports of call, is you can get a lot on a lot of different ships around the United States. One of the ships, one of the companies, is Royal Caribbean.
All right.
Now, I've had the pleasure of being on board some of their ships. And they are simply amazing.
How so?
Well, first of all, if you want to go to the Caribbean,
Yes.
you have some great cruises. And now is the perfect time to book cruises. Because, it's getting close to March and it's time to go, get your cruise on.
Now, are cruises more popular in the winter or in the summer? Because you can go south.
Actually, it's all different times.
Okay.
Because in the middle of summer, a lot of people like to take the Alaskan cruise.
Oh, yeah.
So they like to go up to Alaska. And they also like to do Hawaiian, they're in Hawaii and they go around the Hawaiian Islands. So there are different times of the year. A lot of people from the Northeast like to jump on the ships and come down south into the Caribbean and into the Bahamas. So we have a lot of that. Now, Royal Caribbean has dozens and dozens of ships going to many, many ports.
Now, is there one particular cruise that excites you right now?
Well, right now I like to do the Western Caribbean.
Okay.
Because you have a little bit more. You kind of get a little bit of Mexico in. You're coming around the base of Florida, so you're doing a little bit of that. And that, I've been to the Bahamas, so that's kind of where, I kind of like.
I've been to the
Bahamas. But what Royal Caribbean is doing right now is they're offering 30% off every guest and every ship.
Oh.
Right. So that makes the price point very, very enticing.
And a cruise is like going to a resort hotel and everything is included.
Well, mostly everything is included.
Yeah,
yes, you get your meals included.
Yeah.
You're going to a hotel. You got on Royal Caribbean, they have a lot of activities on board ships.
Well, that's what I mean. You get entertainment, you get food, you get your lodging.
Right.
All
Entertainment, food, lodging. Also activities such as rock climbing. They have a rock climbing wall on some of the ships. On some of the ships, they have the waves that the kids can ride like surfing.
Now,
on boogie boards.
Now, rock climbing is not on my list.
It's not on your to-do list?
Nope. As much as parasailing was.
And one of the ships that I had the pleasure of touring, actually, the ship was so immense, it actually had a promenade that you can walk, and there was stores and restaurants like you were walking down the avenue. That's how big these ships can be.
Wow.
So, a lot of people get a little nervous going on board a ship. But these are not little tiny tankers. These are major cruise lines, so they do offer a lot of safety. So
okay, so if someone wants to book a cruise, how would they contact you to help them?
They can
plan
go
their
right
trip?
to my site. It's ZeeMichaelsonTravel.com, and there's every ship that they ever wanted to know about but were afraid to ask on there. They can look around. They can surf my site without a problem. And click on anything that they want to know more about, and they come right to me.
All right. Okay, well, it's ZeeMichaelsonTravel.com.
Right.
All right, Z, let's get back to Utah. What do you say?
Let's get back to Utah.
Take me around the state a while.
Did we ever answer the trivia question?
My God.
Jay, don't you want to know the answer to the traveling trivia question?
Oh, I'm so excited about Utah. I forgot about the traveling trivia question. What is the traveling trip? Thank you very much, Director.
What is Utah's state animal? That was my question.
Oh, that's right. And it was the elk.
Right, the Rocky Mountain elk.
The mule
deer, or the longhorn sheep.
Now, I'm thinking, do I get to answer these questions or?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm thinking it's the longhorn, but I'm not sure because I can't hear you breathing right now.
Well, actually, even though there is longhorn in the region, the actual answer would be...
So it's not number 3. It's not the longhorn. So now I've got the elk or the mule deer.
Or the mule deer.
And so the longhorn elk or the mule deer. I'm thinking in my head. I see the elk.
And you'd be right.
Oh,
yes,
right.
It's the Rocky Mountain elk.
Okay.
Now, I hate to show my ignorance.
Yes.
But like I said, I am from the city, and when I lived in Oregon, I never seen an elk.
Yeah, well, they heard you were coming.
And they heard I was coming, so they all came out and party. But naturally, the hunting season, and people were driving past, my establishment with these large animals in their trucks. And I went, oh, my God, that's the largest deer I've ever seen.
Elk, my dear.
And somebody turned around and said, you don't know a lot about deers, even though it's in the deer family. That is an elk.
But that was in the state of Oregon? Yeah.
So I was in Oregon. And also the elk make a certain sound. So that I found out later on, too.
Can you?
No, they almost sound like an elephant. They have this squeaking, trumpeting sound that they make. Yeah, so it is the Rocky Mountain elk. Beautiful, beautiful animal.
Good point. Okay, so we're on to a new state. We're on to talking about Utah, where the last couple of weeks we've been talking about Rhode Island. So now we're talking about Utah, and you're going to take me around the state? Is that what we're talking about?
Basically, we're going to touch a little bit about the state. We have several regions. We have the northern region, we have the central region, and we have some other areas that we're going to talk about.
Okay. So what's in the northern region?
All right. Well, let's talk about the northern region. You have a lot of state parks because it is a beautiful, beautiful state. You got Bear Lake State Park. And the locals call this the Caribbean of the Rockies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
We were just talking about the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called the Caribbean of the Rockies because the water is so blue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it has some really great beaches.
Bear Lake State Park.
Right. Now, remember, it's going to be a little bit chilly. It's not going to be warm water like the Caribbean.
Well, one thing I like about the state parks in the West, usually they have great camping.
Yes. But we're going to go more into the different parks and what they offer later on.
Okay,
right now,
I understand that.
But
I just understand that state parks are not like the old in the north or in the east.
Yeah, it's a little bit more enticing.
Yeah. What's another state park?
Well, you also have the Golden Spike National Historic Area. Now, I started laughing because when I was doing my research, all around the state of Utah, all of a sudden this question came up on Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This area commemorates the placement of the railroad spike that served as the final link in the Transcontinental Railroad. And what's really nice is this is a great place for kids or people that love trains because it has replica steam trains.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so you can go and explore it and everything.